Greetings, festive greetings, and welcome back to the Angry Chicken Brawl, where we talk all about this week's Brawl. I'm Garrett Weinzer, and with me today is Jocelyn Moffat. I guess we're swapping things up from the last Brawl episode, Jocelyn, where you were missing and Dills was here, because this time Dills is missing. We don't know where he is.
He disappeared.
But anyways, we are here to do yet another episode. And, well, if you're listening to the audio version, you're missing out. You really are missing out this week. Because, Jocelyn, you and I have showed up in full Wintervale regalia.
Oh, we are super festive. I was telling Garrett before the show that actually my mom made me this Santa hat, and it's like super, super sparkly. I don't know if you guys can see how sparkly, but real sparkly. And it used to have bells on the end, but the bells have fallen off because it was like 10 years. But it used to jingle as well, and I was like the most festive of all the festives.
I think the podcast, like the hat knew it was just going to be on a podcast at some point. It was like, no, these bells need to go.
Yeah.
For the sake
this is not good
of the
for
audio listening public.
But yeah, I love it. I wear it like everywhere for like the 2 weeks heading up to Christmas. It's just, I love the Santa hat so much. Sparkles.
Well, mine smells like a musty Florida attic, so
Ew.
I'm suffering for the video crowd. So I hope you all enjoy it.
Oh, I'm sure they appreciate it. You look wonderful.
So, anyways, we are here to talk about this week's Brawl, and it is finally, Wintervale is happening in every Blizzard game. I think Diablo maybe missed the Christmas train.
I'm not sure. I haven't booted up Diablo in probably 6 or 8 months, so I'm not 100% sure.
Geez.
I don't think StarCraft has anything Wintervale either, do they?
I don't think so either, but at least they have like a snow level.
True.
Although I guess we have that new. If you haven't played Diablo in like 6 or 8 months, you haven't seen it. But there was a new area added in with the last content patch that did bring a snow zone into Diablo. So I guess you could go there and pretend to celebrate Wintervale in Diablo.
Totally could. But yeah, everything else has Wintervale stuff. So I've been going in and doing my Warcraft stuff every day. I really like what they've done. It's just like 4 super easy quests. They did the same for Hallow's End, and my garrison is just covered in Christmas. It's perfect. Sorry, Wintervale. Covered in Wintervale.
I mean, that could be it too. It could just be in the 3 games that have Warcraft involved in it in some way, because Wintervale is originally started in WoW. That's probably
True.
Makes sense. Although, come on, man, I want StarCraft version of Christmas and Diablo version of Christmas. Be great.
It would be. I love Christmas, so I just want everything to be all lights and sparkles.
Nice. Absolutely nice. Well, the Brawl this week is the gift exchange, and the big thing that with this Brawl, other than the fact, the Brawl itself and its mechanics that we'll get into in a second, is you don't get a pack from it. This is actually how we get our Wintervale card back.
Which, so obviously you must have done it, got your win, and have your card back, right?
Yes, it is quite the festive card back.
Oh my god, I love it so much. I think a lot of people were like, oh, no card pack, burger, angry. But, and they're like, oh, it even looks like an empty present. I'm like, that's not a present at all. It's a freaking snow globe, and it's snowing in it. It looks so cool, and the lights flash on and off, and like, it's so much happy. And I'm on ladder, and everyone I'm playing against has the Wintervale card back, and I'm just like, when I queue in, and it's like the Orgrimmar map, and there's like the Horde stockings, I'm just like, this is my happy place.
I mean, yeah, it would have been nice if they also gave us a pack too. I don't see why they just didn't. But
I don't really understand when we're just getting classic packs from Brawl, and so that's like 5 cards a week, basically. Some people, really struggle to get to level 20, and the reward for getting to level 20 is a card back. Like, I don't know where kind of, I guess, the disconnect in value is. To me, a card back is way more valuable than a card pack, especially where there's like a really small window to unlock it. Versus like everything else that you do to try to get card backs. It's so much more work than winning one Brawl. Like, this is so huge. And everyone's just like, it's not a card pack. Grinchy McGrincherson.
Well, I think your opinion on it varies incredibly on your, where you stand. So I would feel like if I was relatively new to the game, if I've been only playing for a month or two and I've been trying to be frugal, that I'd be like, oh man, I'm missing out on a whole pack this week. That does kind of stink. So I get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, well, it's an awesome card pack card back. That means we're getting 2 this month if you hit rank 20. Awesome, I'm down. So
Yeah.
I'm not I don't have my Grinchy pants on, as you put it, but
That's good. I think it's probably because I'm just such a completionist and I have every card back except the ones you have to pay for. Heroic Explorers, the gold one from China, and I feel like and obviously the legend card back.
yes.
So I like the ones I'm missing are it's a very, very small number. And then obviously the ones that have been announced and are in your collection, but you can't actually get yet, which I'm just like, Blizzard, why must you taunt me with these empty spaces? Like, I know you've announced them. Don't put them in my collection until I can actually get them. Same with the China one. It was like super limited release when the game like first came out. It's like no one can get that card back.
Yep.
And yet it's just sitting there being all empty, like taunting me. Blizzard.
It doesn't bother. I guess it doesn't bother me that much. I had a very similar reaction to getting into WoW and seeing people with pets from the original Vanilla Collector's Edition, which they're just damn near impossible to find. And it's what I don't know. It's whatever. Like I was interested. I'm like, oh, how do I get that? And researched it and found out. Oh, you get it from the classic, the original Vanilla Collector's Edition. And it's the same thing in Hearthstone. You know, you look it up and you're like, oh, it was this crazy super limited thing in China only. How crazy is that? But yeah, I know you and I know how your brain works, so I totally see that this is killing you inside.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Every time I open it to choose a new card back, I'm just like, it's like I even have the StarCraft Collector's Edition one, which is the back I was using for a while, and I was just like, man, so
That one
close
is
to complete.
that one is really sweet. I didn't get the collectors for StarCraft though, so I can live without it. I don't like the Protoss that much.
Oh, I love the Protoss, and then you get a little pet in WoW that's like a little Protoss dude. He looks so cool.
Yeah.
Blizzard gets me every single time with all of their crossover stuff. It's like you can get the game, or for like $10 to $20 more, you can have all this other
cool
super cool stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's get into the gift exchange brawl. So the whole thing here is that Great Father Winter is dropping crates on the battlefield, and these there's 0-4 crates. So this is, by the way, this is a constructed brawl. You're gonna have to build a deck to go in. It's not a pre-constructed deck brawl, and but you're gonna go in, and you're going to see that there are crates on both sides of the board. They have no attack. They have 4 health. And when you break them, you get a 1 mana Stolen Winter's Gift spell card. And casting it will let you discover a gift. You get a choice of 3 random gifts. It might be a spell. It might be a minion. It could be a Wintervale specific card. Like the one I kept getting was Hardpack Snowballs that return 3 enemy minions to their owner's hand.
I believe that's the only one, or that's the only one that I ever saw was sometimes like you'd have snowballs or 2 other choices, and the snowballs was like crazy removal. There was one brawl I was actually playing against a listener, and it was just like every single stolen present I got was just snowballs. So I was just like, oh, you're playing stuff? Not anymore. 0 mana snowballs.
Yeah, it was very nice. However, if you any other like normal card that you got. It wasn't 0 mana, but it was greatly reduced in cost.
I think it was a discount of 5 mana. So if it was 5 mana cost or less, then it cost 0, and then everything above 5 mana was accordingly costed.
Yep. Yeah, that would make sense because I played a game just before the show. I got Mal'Ganis for the first time as a mage. I also got Jiraxxus in the same game. And Jiraxxus saved my bacon, by the way. That's how I won that game.
Nice.
But Mal'Ganis did cost 4 mana, so that does make sense. That is a 5 mana reduction.
Yes.
So anyway, obviously the the stolen gifts, it's all about the stolen gifts. Like, yes, you can come in with the best deck, like, you know, go net deck your ass off and build a perfect deck and go in. But at the end of the day, all of the power in this brawl comes from the stolen gifts. The more you can do to bust open gifts there's going to be one on your enemy side, there's going to be one on your side. If you can figure out ways to break your own and your enemies, oh man, it's amazing. Twisting Nether is such a good card.
Yeah, Twisting Nether's pretty crazy. Obviously, there's also a Doomsayer. If you can get your Doomsayer out on turn 1 or turn 2, like 1 with the coin or turn 2, then I mean, like, you 9 times out of 10 are going to get 2 gifts right off the bat. And so basically, you get a new gift, like a new 0-4 box on your side, if you no longer have a box. So if you can do something like silence your opponent's gift, then they're not going to get any more. Or same thing, silence your own, whatever. But yeah, as long as that 0-4 is there, then you won't get any more gifts from Great Father Winter.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of ways you can mess with your opponent.
Yeah.
And silencing your own is a great way because it's significantly easier to destroy your opponent's box than it is to destroy your own. You'll need either a Crazed Alchemist, a Void Terror if you're a Warlock, or you're going to have to sacrifice one of your own direct damage spells to pop your own box. Or give it attack value with a Defender of Argus or a Abusive Sergeant, something like that. There's all kinds of ways.
But it's so much more difficult to do your own than to do your opponent's, because so many things in Hearthstone are based on destroying your opponent. So everything is directed to enemy whatevers. So it was quite difficult when people did things like silencing their own box. It's just like, no. And I do believe that they're class specific cards. I don't think that they're neutrals. I think it's all class specific stuff. And the gift that you get is based on which box you destroy. So if you're in a mirror match, it doesn't matter. But if you're in, like, say, Warlock versus Mage, I'm the Warlock, Garrett's the Mage. If I destroy Garrett's box, I get a Mage specific something. If Garrett destroys mine, he gets a Warlock specific something, even though that's not the class we're currently playing. So that kind of put a different kind of spin on it, because you had to think like, okay, do I want stuff that's potentially going to synergize with the deck that I built, or do I want to, give my opponent synergy and deny them what could be my super strong class cards? Like you mentioned, you got Mal'Ganis. Like, I don't want a Mage getting Jiraxxus or Mal'Ganis, or a lot of the Warlock removal stuff. So I was trying to clear my gift quite often. Plus, if you have the choice of like your gift or your opponent's gift, then if you destroy your own gift on your turn, they won't get another one, I think.
It takes a whole turn to reset it.
Yeah. So, that was also like a way to kind of deny your opponent a gift, because it always drops a new gift at the start of your turn if you don't have one on your side. So it was a really cool mechanic. I love this Brawl. I played a lot of this Brawl, not just like with, because I played a lot with viewers yesterday, but even after that, like just going in and just playing on the ladder, I guess, air quotes, like, what do you call it? I was playing against other random people anyway.
Brawl matchmaking.
Yeah. So I just queued into regular Brawl matchmaking. And I did so much of that. I haven't played a Brawl like this over and over and over and over since probably Portals. I played the crap out of Portals for like 3 days, and I'm playing the crap out of this Brawl now.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying this one. I've been trying to get my Mage daily done in it. And because of that, I've been going up against a lot of Antoniduses against classes that should not have Antonidas.
Antonidas is crazy because you have so many 1 and 0 cost spells because of the gifts.
Yep.
It's just like, not only do I get a present, but I also get a fireball.
I've been playing with the Tempo Mage deck because it is strong, because you have, like you said, a lot of 1-cost spells, and you have the chance to find even more spells through the, spending the gifts. But it's a double-edged sword, because your opponent has a fairly high chance of, at some point during the game, finding an Antonidas, and I would say fireballs are a little more potent than a couple of shots off of a Flame Waker.
Yeah. Very true.
Especially with a discounted Antonidas. Like, oh, man.
Yeah, I was actually debating playing Shaman, because I was just like, a lot of the Shaman stuff is really like with that overload mechanic, and no way to unlock your crystals or anything like that, because obviously if you're the other class, like, you don't have all of the Shaman tools to deal with that overload. So I was just like, oh, man, maybe I should play Shaman. And then I'm like, but then I have to play Shaman.
I did go up against a Shaman today, and I was getting their spells, and I'm like, I don't want to use these. I'm going to get overloaded. Yeah,
exactly. So I think playing a class that maybe is like, has less powerful class cards is a pretty good strategy as well. Like, screw over your opponent by playing a crappy class yourself, and then make use of their tools instead. I think it's also a valid strategy. I haven't tried it yet, but...
Yeah, so overall, this Brawl, I'm just having a really good time with it, and it's really making me think about the game in different ways, which is fun. It's just all around fun. I don't know. Even the ones I've lost, there's just been super weird things that have happened. I'm just like, wow, I've never seen that happen before.
Exactly. Because you get all these weird, crazy combinations because classes are getting stuff that they're not supposed to have. And more consistently than something like, Unstable Portal or, I'm trying to think of something. Oh, Spellslinger. Those are kind of cards that create, class stuff that wouldn't normally happen. So, but this is like, every single time you kill a crate, like it could be one or two presents going out every single turn, and then all of a sudden it's just like shblah, all of the crazy happens in like turn 7 to 10,
Yeah.
And I've had brawls that have gone on like into like 25 turns, and I'm just like, what is even happening right now? Like just they take forever in some cases, and then there's other times that I just get totally rolled in like 3 turns.
Yeah, it was also cool seeing it because of the way that that the gifts work. It was cool seeing what the game might be like if Discover wasn't bound to just neutrals and the class that you were playing. Like, what would happen if a mage could get a hold of Warlock cards or Shaman cards or whatever, and vice versa. And obviously, there was still a range, and it was locked by some sort of parameter, and the fact that it was only ever going to be from the 2 classes that were currently being played. But it was still cool to see that Discover mechanic reinvigorated. By the way, God, they're just throwing that Discover mechanic on everything. Like,
yeah,
just every brawl. Like, how do we work this new mechanic into this brawl, guys?
Well, and I mean, I can kind of see why, because they're trying to promote the new thing that they just put into the game, and they're trying to make people understand how Discover could potentially be really powerful, which it can be in some cases. But 9 times out of 10, you're always paying some sort of a price when you're doing that, usually in the body of your minion. So it's the same sort of idea as Joust. We had a couple of Joust brawls when that first came out. So I just feel like it's their way of promoting whatever the newest thing is in the game and trying to get people thinking with Discover. It's like thinking with portals, but different.
Exactly. So I've really enjoyed this brawl. It's been a good time. So satiating your need for Christmas joy and cheer in Hearthstone.
Oh, it will never be satiated ever. I'm always gonna want more Christmas. Always.
Oh well, it's good. It is damn good. Well, let's before we take an email, let's thank our patrons, because without them we wouldn't be doing this episode every week. So thank you guys. This week we wanted this episode we wanted to thank Paul D, Chris G, Sam S, Matt, and John. Thank you guys so much for supporting the Angry Chicken, and patrons, keep an eye out on the Patreon. We'll be posting a date for this month's call-in episode very soon. Now let's take an email.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello, brother.
You can send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Our episode, this email comes to us from Ridiculous Hat, which is so
appropriate.
fitting. Yes. It's like he knew. He like looked into the future and was like, they're about to do an episode about the Wintervale Brawl. I think they're going to show up in ridiculous hats. So I'm going to sign my email like that. And Ridiculous Hat writes, "Hello, Boom Chickens." Yes. For each of you, what has been your favorite Tavern Brawl so far, and why? I totally should have read this ahead of time because I am unprepared and I don't know off the top of my head. So Jocelyn, go right ahead.
I would say, and I put a whole big list of all of the brawls that we've had in the actual doc, because I'm like, I know we're going to forget. There's been so many. I think we're up to about like 20 now, 21 brawls. Anyways, I think, well, other than this one, because this is obviously my go-to, like, I freaking love this. It's Wintervale. It's so much fun. Gift exchange. Yeah, definitely favorite brawl. Which I feel like is a little bit of a trap. Like, what brawl did we talk about this week? Oh, it's probably my favorite, with a couple of exceptions. But no, the gift exchange has been really cool because of all the stuff we talked about earlier. But I think out of all of them, probably my favorite has been Unite Against Mechazod, only because it introduced co-op to the game. So it felt like they were finally trying to do something that everyone had been kind of talking about since Nax came out, probably, actually. And they were starting to kind of play around with a concept that the community wanted. And so it was really cool to see that. I mean, mechanically, it's probably not my favorite Brawl, but I do like how much it seemed to be a community-driven effort. So Unite Against Mechazod, I think, wins my favorite Brawl Go Team 5 award.
I think so too, and that's not just a cop-out.
Totally a cop-out. You just weren't prepared, so you're like, whatever Jocelyn says,
no, it is not.
I'll agree with. No one will know.
The one I had the most fun with probably is either this week's or Too Many Portals.
Okay. Too Many Portals, I think, is definitely the one I played the most of, because as soon as Brawl was announced as a thing, I was just like, oh my god, Unstable Portal Brawl! Like, I was ready for it week 1, and it took them, 6 or 8 weeks to actually get there. But then it was like right around my birthday, so I was like, you know what? I'll take it. Happy birthday, Joss, from Blizzard. Have all the portals. The only thing I wish is in the Unstable Portal Brawl, if you had 2 gold Unstable Portals, if all of your portals would have been gold, because that would have been so cool. Then it would just be all gold minions, and you could see all the shinies.
Complaints that only you would have. Only you.
I didn't say I have 2 golden unstable portals. I do, but I didn't say that. I said for anyone who does, it would be super cool. It's the same as when you have gold cards in your collection.
That's not
and
where
you
I
go
was,
into arena.
That's not where I was going with that. I wasn't. It wasn't a 1% Jocelyn joke. That was.
I totally thought it, because that was been bugging me for a week. Everything I do, they're like, "Oh, Joss, the 1%." Damn it! I'm allowed to have some gold cards.
I just know how much you prioritize bling in Hearthstone.
Pretty shiny things.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So for me, I think Too Many Portals and this week was really fun. I think I like the randomness. I think it's fun because that's the thing with Tavern Brawl. Like, I go in and I kind of, my guard is down. It's like, I don't care if it's incredibly random. I just want it to be really random. I don't want them to go half cocked. Because Dex Assemble I wasn't a huge fan of, and it was very random, but you kind of put things together. But the fact that the cards still cost as much as they usually did, just for whatever reason for me, I'm like, it's like,
it didn't feel like it changed the game much.
Right, well, I mean, it did drastically. I mean, it was probably the most robust system next to maybe next to Unite Against Mechazod. Unite Against Mechazod and Dex Assemble are probably, to me, the ones I looked at and like, wow, a lot of work went into these 2 brawls.
Those 2 really felt like they might be kind of testing new game modes, like maybe we'll see a co-op adventure something because of Unite Against Mechazod and how popular that was. And, maybe we'll get a new mode within possibly a subset of Arena where it's like something like Dex Assemble. So that felt like they were testing mechanics more than just, doing crazy random fun brawl things. So, which Randomonium, that's the one where you just had a totally random deck. Is that what that was? Or no, that was the changing mana cost one.
Well,
and
there's two of
every time.
There's 2 of them. Randomonium was a random deck, and the costs were random. Encounter at the Crossroads was just a random deck.
Right.
And their art is actually very similar. They both have the totem that's in the center of Crossroads on it, except the Randomonium one looks very confused. Its eyeballs are pointing in different directions.
Oh, man. But yeah, I couldn't believe when I looked at the list, like how many brawls that we've actually had. It feels like, we haven't been doing Brawl episodes that long. Brawl hasn't been a thing for that long. And then I'm like, oh my God, Brawl goes back to like June. Like, we've had so many brawls.
Yeah. It's like a thing now, right? It's just a accepted mode in Hearthstone. It's kind of become a normal thing. Mm-hmm. It no longer feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel new.
Tacked on.
Although, I mean, it does feel new because it's very frequently we're seeing brand new brawls. We haven't had that many repeats, honestly. Mm-hmm. And I know every time we have a repeat, I feel like there's always people complaining. But overall, I think they've done a great job. I mean,
well, yeah, like you said, we've had 20 brawls, so, or give or take. So, I mean, 6 months would be like 24 to 26 probably brawls that we would expect. So we've only had repeats a couple of times, and I mean they repeated Spiders Everywhere, but that was, I think they had problems with whatever the brawl was that they were trying to do. I think it was Captain Blackheart's Treasure.
It was Captain Blackheart's Treasure because it was like data mined, and all the fan sites were like, this is what it's going to be. And then it was like, it took a couple hours for it to go up. And then when it went up, it was a web spinner one.
Spiders, yeah.
And Yeah, so it was just clearly, there had to be some kind of technical issues going on internally there. So
Yeah, so I think we've had a repeat of Spiders once. Showdown has repeated once. Randomonium has repeated once, I think. Maybe. Or no, sorry, Crossroads.
and kind of, we just had it last week.
Yeah.
That's what Dills and I were talking about while you were unfortunately at a funeral.
Yeah. Which, spoiler alert, there's another one tomorrow.
Oh, geez.
We've had a really, really rough month. But
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that.
no, it's fine. But I'm still here, and we're brawling, and it's Christmas, and it's fun because sparkles, right?
Well, at least, at least that's nice and positive.
Yep.
And I just realized we haven't brought up the Tavern Brawl time change. This is probably best as any good of any time to talk about.
I totally forgot about that.
While we're talking about the history of Brawl so far. So this came to us from Keegan B, a Hearthstone community manager on the official forums this week, and Keegan B said that they're always on lookout to improve ways, for your experience playing Hearthstone, and that they're changing the Tavern Brawl release schedule in order to provide better monitoring capabilities, increase their response time for issues, and minimize service impact on their players across the world. So Tavern Brawls will be going up from now on here in the Americas, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific. In China, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. In Korea and Taiwan, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. And in Europe, on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. And I know a lot of our European listeners are not happy about this change.
Yeah, I know, because I think that means the Brawl goes live at like midnight for them, give or take a couple hours. So,
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really, really big change for them. Basically, it means like they're not really, unless they stay up super late, they're not going to be able to play it or stream it until, the next day. So it's almost like it's been pushed a whole day for them. Did they actually say when the brawls are going to be taken down? Because that would be kind of another complaint concern. I haven't read too much into it, but if they're going to come down at the same time everywhere, then it's like, North America gets an extra bunch of hours and Europe gets even less because it's such a late release time for them.
I'm sorry, I was just trying to figure out the time difference. It goes live at 9 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. local time for them. Not
9
midnight.
9 p.m.
9
okay.
p.m. Because I know there's a 5-hour distance from where I am, or at least to London.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay. I was thinking, GMT, I think, is a couple more hours than that.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was kind of thinking, because that's their normal, or is it GMT? No, CST. I don't know. I'm European. I'm bad enough with North American time zones. Trying to throw Europe in there too.
10,
It's just
10
such a
p.m.
curveball.
CET is the time that
CET.
they give in the forums.
Right. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's
Yeah.
where I got midnight from, because I think that's a couple of hours past Britain time, London time.
Yes. I just knew 5 from London because I did a thing with Terpster a few weeks ago, and I know it's 6 hours to France because I do Overwatches with Patrick. That's how I know these time differences.
I think CET is one more hour past Patrick.
Gotcha. Cool. Alrighty. Well, now that we know that. Yeah. So not the best thing for European players, and I totally sympathize with them. I completely understand why they'd be complaining about it. I find it very odd that it goes up later for Europe than it does for us.
Yeah, I can understand them keeping North America and Europe on different cycles because, you don't want to let the two biggest kind of centers of Hearthstone onto the servers all at the same time in case there are issues. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand why they don't bring Europe on at 9 a.m. and bring North America on at 1 p.m. That would make, just switch North America and Europe would make so much more sense to me.
Yeah. Now, granted, here on the East Coast, I'd be like, no, I don't want to get it until 3 p.m., but whatever. That's still not nearly as bad as what European players are having to deal with right now. So
yeah. It feels really odd. And again, although obviously Blizzard is, I guess, headquartered in California, they are a North American company. Sometimes it really feels like they're so NA centric, and it's just like there's nothing going on when big decisions are made outside of NA. And it's like, really? There's a whole hell of a lot of people around the world that love to do all of the things Blizzard. And sometimes it just feels like, well, obviously we have to do North America first thing when we get in the morning. It's like, really? Really?
Well, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, they've definitely been getting better. I mean, I remember a time when midnight launches were the thing, and going out to get Lich King at midnight on the East Coast, while all my West Coast buddies were like, "We hate you so much, we can't even buy it yet. You're in the game already." And now it's flipped. I hate West Coast. They don't turn the servers on until 3 a.m. for me. So there's no point. It's like, well, I'm already asleep by then. So F you guys.
Comes back around.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I would be very surprised if this sticks, because the feedback has not been phenomenal. And I don't blame anyone. I don't blame anyone in Europe for not being cool with this.
And I don't really understand, I guess, the thinking that goes behind this. Like, did they not see this coming? Did they just not care? Like, that would be the first thing. Oh, yeah, let's just launch at 1 p.m. in Europe. That'll be fine. Wait a minute. That's like 10, 11, and midnight. Maybe we should rethink this, guys. Like, it's so weird that it just seems, I don't know. I don't understand the logic behind this decision at all. I understand, like, not wanting to have a Brawl go live in peak times, but if they're going to have somebody go live at 9 a.m. and they're going to have somebody go live at 1 p.m., why not just, serve the further away countries first? Makes more sense to me. But yeah. I don't work for Blizzard.
I don't either. I just really like their stuff, and I talk about it, and sometimes I'm right, and a lot of times I'm not. So.
Oh, I'm sure. Garrett being wrong never happens.
Yep. Well, anyways, I think that's going to do it for this Brawl episode. I hope everyone out there is having a good time with it. So get out there and enjoy it. Get your card back. I love the snow globe. It's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. So.
I love playing this Brawl too because of all the Discover stuff. So it's like when people are playing with super cool card backs, it's like they just pop up and they just sit there, and you can be like, can actually like, appreciate all of these card backs that you can't really see when you're in game hardly at all.
Yeah. So, well, that's gonna do it. Are you in a rush after this, Joss? Got time for one game? Best of one?
Yeah, I can absolutely do a best of one.
Sweet. Well, make sure to head on over to our YouTube to see that, folks. We'll do one of those as a little Wintervale celebration. So, thanks again to our patrons at patreon.com/TAC. Thanks to those of you leaving us iTunes reviews. We really do appreciate those. Check us out on amove.tv and youtube.com/amovetv. Thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H, LVE, and Barry Scott L. Our t-shirts on slashloot.com. Get the new tack mugs over at bit.ly/amove store, or a wine glass, or a pint glass. Doesn't have to be a mug.
I have the wine glass, and it's gorgeous.
I have the mug, and I sip coffee out of it frequently. Not right now, but fairly frequently. Follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. We're on Facebook /AMoveTV, and we're on Reddit at TACpodcast.reddit.com. We'll be back this Monday for our Prime show at 5 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/AMoveTV and on Alpha Geek Radio. Check out BrianGriffithMusic.com for our intro music. Joss, where can folks find you? Farks. Whatever a fark is.
Oh, that's not what it sounded like you said. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Joss Plays. That's JOCE Plays. You can find me right here on AMove TV every Wednesday night for the Gamers In. That is for the month of December at 9 p.m. Eastern, but then we will be going back to our regular time at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can also find me Thursday nights doing Gamers In Game Night, which is basically just viewer games. It's a whole lot of fun. That's pretty much it, I think.
Nice. Well, folks can find me on Twitter at Garrett Art. I'm on nomanart.com for my graphic design portfolio. Check out Into the Nexus. We have a new episode up talking all about the new hero and Heroes of the Storm. That'll do it. We'll see you guys Monday. Job's done.
Job's done.
Nope.